Hey everyone, I'm Lou Perez, your host of the Builder Upper Show, a podcast where we talk about everything in construction and trades. Now let's get into it. I would like to welcome our guest, Kyle Young, president of Double L Management. Hey Kyle, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate you jumping on here. You're a really busy guy. A lot of stuff going on in your businesses, so I'm excited to jump right into it and just ask you right away, when did you get into construction?
So I've been in construction for probably close to 20 years now. I grew up in with an entrepreneurial grandfather that had his own commercial contracting, industrial contracting company. I remember when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, sneaking into plants, working the night shift with him, and kind of grew up doing that. Got into engineering, and then went to work for a home builder, and really enjoyed the home building side of things. Out of That was an internship when I was in college. Then after I got out of college, I went to work designing conveyor systems because I thought, hey, I'm a mechanical engineer. He grew up in the plants, and that's kind of what thought I wanted to do. So started designing conveyor systems. Absolutely hated it. It was terrible. Sitting behind a desk all day and CAD and SolidWorks and BIM modeling and stuff. So took a chance and went to work as a estimator for what I had absolutely no idea what they were. They were an interior finishes contractor. Ended up being knew nothing about them. They were a large interior finishes contractor, and I thought, how much metal studs and drywall can there be in the Columbus, Ohio market? And coming to find out, there's quite a bit of commercial metal studs and drywall. So,
Wow.
So worked in there for a while. Got a little burnout. Decided to go try general contracting. Went and worked for a large national general contractor for a while. Didn't There was a lot of red tape. Didn't love all the red tape that was involved. So got the opportunity to come back to Columbus, Ohio. There was a company, Acoustic Ceiling Partition, which I now own, that was struggling. Gonna shut the doors down. Actually, gonna close up this office. Had a project that was going really bad. It was right during the downturn, 8, 9, 10, 11. So with the handshake agreement, I agreed to come on board, and if I got to turn it back around, he was willing to sell it to me, and here we are, 12 years later. We've grown. Oh shoot, I'd hate to think about it. Probably it's over 800% over 10, 11 years here. So.
Oh wow. So you made a really great business move, it sounds like. Would you like to attribute some of that success from I see that you are a Buckeye, so I know you went to Ohio State University for mechanical engineering.
Yep.
Did you learn a lot of anything else from business that really led you to wanting to make moves like that?
Yeah, I didn't turn right. I think the entrepreneurial piece was just in me. Just kind of always wanting to kind of do my own thing. My wife and I actually just last couple of days were just laughing about it. Like here I was at a steady salary and a steady income at a company that was a large national general contractor. We were newly married in a apartment that was $800 a month. And I said, what the heck? Let's give it a run. Worst thing that happens is they go out of business, right? So, and they were on the verge. I mean, we had a couple rough jobs, and it was worth every bit of rolling the dice. So, while at Ohio State there, I started at a small engineering school called Ohio Northern. Love my experience there. The problem is they weren't really recognized by some of the larger companies. So I shifted gears, went to Ohio State, minored in business, and kind of knew I always wanted to be in the business side of things. But yeah.
That's awesome. Where does the inspiration to be an entrepreneur come from? Is it in the family genes?
Yeah, I think it was growing up, right? Watching my grandfather. We were he was if you ever watched some of those show on some of those HBO shows, the Pacific or whatever, he was a Marine, and
Yeah.
some of the stuff that those guys went through there on the Guadalcanal and Galapagos Islands and stuff like that. You look back and you're like, wow, that's nuts. But he got out and started a HVAC company shortly after that. And next thing you know, he's in industrial contracting and working in plants and stuff. And it just, yeah, that kind of inspired me. And then I just grew up around the family business, and it's since learned my lessons too, right? Because it was always with them, it was always feast or famine, and eventually it did go bankrupt. But kind of learned my lessons on what to do, what not to do, and here we are today.
Does it push you to kind of almost like that inspiration that you got, almost like pay it forward and mentor any others to bring others up the way that you did?
Um, yeah, it does. It does. It's hard because it a lot of it is a work ethic thing, right? It's you gotta put the time and effort in. I remember summers during when I was in high school and stuff. I would go hit the road, and we were working 7 days a week, 12-hour days, and all summer long. And I was sneaking into plants when I was 10 years old, tearing, running torches and welders and cutting stuff out, putting conveyor systems in. But I'd work the night shift because my grandfather would sneak me in during the night shift. I remember one of the supervisors came over and wanted something done that works at the plant, and he kind of looked at me, and you could see it in his eyes, like, this kid's not 16 years old. What in the world are you doing? There I was, climbing around, crawling around on conveyors and systems, and oh yeah, it was fun. It was great times.
Oh, I love that story. What is something that you know today that you wish you knew when you started?
I think you can't say enough about having the mentality, not putting yourself out there, right? Some people are going to say no, but just building that network and just putting yourself out there to throw something out there, right? I mean, everything from, hey, how do I look on this job, or so on and so forth. And it's funny because like some of the younger folks and some different personalities, just like throw yourself out there, right? The worst thing that somebody's going to say is no, but go ahead and take a chance. The upside is great. The downside's, hey, they say no. So that'd be the biggest thing I would say. So
Yeah.
I think part of that was I learned a lot of that after I worked for a general contractor, and then thought I wanted to do more FBI type stuff, right? So I was 30 years old, almost going through a midlife crisis, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and didn't know if construction was the right field. Ended up going into the military, and I learned a ton of stuff there. So spent 6 years in the reserves, and learned a lot there, especially in the background that I was in the military. So.
Oh, wow. You made that move when you were 30?
I was 30 years old. Yeah, I had an engineering degree, and I was running. Actually, at the time after I did it, I had just finished up. I was project managing a $40 million GC project over 9 months, and kind of like didn't know what we were working two shifts, 2 10-hour shifts 5 days a week, and then 2 8-hour shifts on Saturday. and I was working for the general contractor, and I was there all the time. And we were finishing that project up, and I'm like, what am I going to do with my time now? So I said, what the heck? I want to join the military. So here I am, 30 years old, and I went and joined the military, and I ended up going enlisted because you got to pick what position you wanted to do if you went enlisted. Whereas if you went officer, which I had my a degree at that time, so I could have went officer route, but they pick what you do at that point. So I ended up doing military intelligence is what I did, and it taught me a lot of stuff. So for sure.
Does any of the military experience that you went through help you with what you're doing today?
I think the leadership side of things for sure. Definitely helps with some of the stuff I do today, and then some of the training that I got through my MOS school, just like building relationships, building rapport, and learning as much about people as you can, and just networking and building those relationships. That's right. It's very similar. So whether you're in the military and you're trying to find information out about X, Y, or Z, or you're a contractor trying to find out where my number is compared to the competition, right? That's a huge part of it. So building that relationship to where you can get feedback to kind of know where you're at, and that's a huge part of it. So I guess thinking back about it, yeah, that's what. There's a lot of similarities, right? You're trying to get intelligence on different things in the military, and here I'm trying to get intelligence on where my numbers are at, what I can do to do better, what I can do to get the next job. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it for sure.
That's great. You become a professional at peeling back the onion. Do you have any secrets on scaling your business?
So, we started scaling just by building relationships and growing here locally. I think what I kind of learned though was I started enjoying the deals more than I enjoyed the building piece of it. So I was at so after 5 years, I bought acoustic ceiling and partition, or after growing it from, we were about 300,000, and then we were up to 22 million after 5 years.
Wow.
So we grew it, and then I kind of learned from there. I'm like, you know what? I enjoy the deals and the growth aspect more than I do the construction building piece of it. So I have a great leadership team in place that does a lot of the building, and then I'm out doing a lot more mergers and acquisitions. Right now we're started out as one company, 11 years ago, and now the goal is to be 8 next year. We're just going through growing. I was at a conference, mergers and acquisitions conference, and they said 65% of companies in the next 10 years are going to change hands. 40% of those companies have no succession plans. So what I've done is I went into some companies and made it a win-win situation for both a aging baby boomer generation, right, that started the company, that it was their baby, and now they're in their late 50s, 60s, even 70s, and they don't have any options of, well, we're either going to close this down or that's what we're going to do, just not a lot of options. So go in there and take and harness our management and our operational skills and step into these family-owned companies and, get the owner, the founder a payday, but then also be able to tack it on to what we're doing.
That's awesome. I mean, what an experience that you go through for M&A. I'm guessing growing pains is something that you're used to now. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I think my folks that have been with me for a long time now have gotten used to it. They're getting bored if we're not growing, and I can't sit still. So we've and I know we'll maybe talk about it a little later, but we've brought a FMI as a consultant in, joined a peer group, been a phenomenal piece for us. And then we've been able to take that and really get operational excellence out of it, right? So we know our job cost, and we have processes in place to a T. So now it is, we just go add on a company. We already have our processes set up. We'll bring FMI in to help implement those processes, but technology and processes, we'll tack them on and clean them up. Because a lot of times these companies too that are, baby boomer generations are aging, right? They're scared of technology, and we definitely harness that and use that to grow and scale and clean up processes for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna have a piggyback off of that and ask you, how do you use technology in your businesses?
We're using a ton of technology, and I think construction was stagnant for so long that there wasn't much movement. So we started by smallly, adding some, be it ERP type systems, to where we had our job costs pretty well nailed down to. In the last couple of years, we've panelization, roll forming your own studs, BIM, Revit, getting design build contracts, robotics, right? We have robots now out in the field that do layout, and we've used some finishing robots that finish our drywall for us. And
oh wow.
we've started leveraging a lot of that. Our initiative right now, that's the next 18 months initiative, is we are completely overhauling our software to where we're going to have dashboards and job costing and production rates and percent completes and everything. It's going to be at the tip of our fingertips, so we can forecast, so we can plan, so we can project 1, 3, 5 years out, where the numbers are on. And then as we bolt on these other companies, we can add different scenarios in that, hey, if this happens, kind of playing that out. We've definitely been blessed here in Columbus, Ohio, because this market's been a hot market, but we're using that to expand into other markets as well. So
I love the mentality behind technology that you're doing. It sounds like you're future proofing everything that you have built so far today.
Yeah, I think the plan is, we'll be the plan is our current size and capacity. We will be able to double our size with kind of what we're getting ready to do currently. So
that's great. So if you're going to be doubling, and you need to go out and recruit new workers, I mean, that could be one question. How do you recruit? And then also, what is the company culture like?
So I've tried, it's been fun, but we've tried to really, at heart, we're a family company, right? We work hard, we play hard, we try and get everything done that needs to be done. We don't watch the clock. You got an appointment, you got a kids event, you got this, that, and the other thing. I like to treat my employees just like they're entrepreneurs too, right? You're in there, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the job done. But I'm not sitting there and saying, hey, come in at 7 o'clock and clock out at 3. No, I hated that, right? That was when I was in the factory, building conveyor systems. That's what it was. So you were clocking in, clocking out, expect to work. No, if you're a professional, and you need to treat it like a professional. So we do a lot of be it happy hours or Christmas parties, and outside of work, we're all friends, right? It's all, we help each other out. We build a great culture that way, and we continue to try and just bring everybody into the picture, trying to break that barrier down between the field and the office, trying to we're all one team. We're all what's good for the lowest guy in the totem pole is good for me. Trying to, so we're all in it to do the same thing, for sure.
If somebody wants to go, I mean, it sounds like an amazing environment that you've created for your workers. If somebody wants to go look for jobs, to apply for jobs, do they go to Double L Management? Is that the core of?
Yeah. So Double L Management ties to all the companies. You can see all the companies there. So even if you go go to one of the other companies, be it ACP, Elevate, Legacy, Omni, they all roll up into Double L. So you can find it there pretty easily. But that's one thing that's also, we've seen a lot of growth because there's just growth potential. As I said before, I can't sit still, so we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to grow, continue to expand, and all these folks, have continued to grow with me. So, everybody from I remember our CFO came with us. She just came on as like a accounting clerk, 10 year, 7, 8, 10 years ago. I forget how long now. And now she's the CFO of our company, and same way with our operations guy, right? He was a field guy and has just grown with us. And there's just a ton of huge potential. Now he runs all our operations for all our company. He oversees 400 employees now in our field. So.
Oh wow, I was gonna ask you, like, spotlight a couple of your employees there. What you can name drop,
Yeah.
give them a highlight.
So Justin Hollinsworth, he came with us, and he worked in the field for a little bit and wanted to get into project management. Now so he's just continued to project manager, senior project manager, operations. It's funny because as we've grown, I was doing all that, right? I was estimating and project managing and then doing all that. So we've just kind of moved people into those positions. I got Marco Solis is the he's been with me the longest. He's been running our estimating department for he came on 2 years before I did. He's the only office employee that's left from the old company that was about to go bankrupt. So and then Ruth Gabley, she's our CFO, but she's grown with us as well. So yeah, it's been great.
That's great. Where can people find your business? Do you have a centralized location? Do you work in multiple states? What does that look like as far as, like, where can they go? Do you have a website, like a direct website that they go to?
Yeah, so you could go to doublelmanagement.com and find a lot of information. But currently we're in Columbus, Ohio. We're in Cincinnati, Ohio. We are in hopefully here soon, growing up into the Michigan, Ann Arbor, Detroit market. But we're rapidly expanding, looking to expand into other markets. So I'll put that shout out on here. So if there's any companies that are looking to be for sale, feel free to reach out, because we're always looking to expand and looking for acquisitions in different markets to continue to expand. So. Sure.
That is great to know. I mean, me personally, I reach out to a lot of companies, and I do run into quite a few that are saying, I'm about to retire. I'm ready to get rid of my business. And,
I don't have a plan.
that's the plan. So it's good to know. So I can definitely filter those your way, and you can have those conversations. Sure. Hopefully that will benefit you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then for your current businesses, are you guys currently hiring then right now? Like,
we're always hiring. I mean,
always. Okay.
Everywhere from project managers, accounting, estimating, engineering, finishers, concrete. Yeah, we're always hiring. So we're carpenters. We're doing quite a bit of hiring all the time, for sure.
That's good to know. Good to know. And then, before we wrap up, do you have any advice for new construction owners that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Take a chance, right? I mean, it's scary. It's a risk, but you don't know until you don't try, right? So that's kind of the way I started out the conversation here when we started is the worst thing you can be is said no, but just take a chance, take a risk, believe in yourself, and if you feel like you can build it and do it. Take a chance. Try it out. So
I love it.
Best advice.
Yep. You don't know if you don't try. I really appreciate that advice. Well, Kyle, thank you for being a guest on the show. Please, everyone, like, subscribe, comment, and share the Builder Upper Show with anyone in the construction industry. We will see you next time. If you're a construction contractor and would like to appear as a guest on our podcast, write us an email. It's lou@lumberfy.com.